Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Barker. I'm the Fuel Safety Specialist for TSSA. Now, before I answer this question, let me put things into context. We have heard of many situations where people have spent their life savings to buy a gas station, not realizing that they're taking on the liability for faulty equipment or for contamination in the ground. Either of those things, if they have to replace equipment or to remediate contamination, can cost into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So as a buyer, you want to make sure you protect yourself. What I suggest is that you ask for the following items before you sign on the dotted line. The first thing you should get is a copy of the license of the station. If the license has lapsed for 12 months or more, that means the station has lost any prior approval for older equipment. So if your station has underground single wall equipment, that means that you will have to replace all of that equipment with double wall equipment in order to be licensed. And that can be very, very expensive. The next thing you should get is confirmation from the seller in writing that there are no outstanding orders on the station. So that means the seller has complied with everything that TSSA has asked them to do. You can also get a copy of previous inspection reports from TSSA. Another thing you should get is a copy of all the maintenance records for all the equipment at the station. If you have underground steel tanks or lines, that means you should also get a copy of the corrosion protection records for all of those things. If you should also ask the seller to provide an environmental assessment of the site to see if there's any contamination in the ground, because once you've bought the site, you are responsible for that contamination and for cleaning it up. And finally, you should ask for a precision leak test. So that's a test of all the underground equipment or above ground to make sure that it's not leaking. So with that information, and if everything is satisfactory, then you can go ahead and purchase the gas station. But you have to be aware of what can happen, of the liabilities that you're buying once you purchase. If you're modifying the site, now to me a modification is you are changing the layout, the physical layout of the site, so maybe you're adding a building or removing a tank. You're changing the capacity, so that's adding a tank or removing a tank or anything like that. That's what we consider a modification. And all of those things require a registered petroleum contractor to be hired to do the work, and then the person actually doing the work has to be the appropriate petroleum mechanic. Now, there are certain modifications, simple ones, that you may be able to get away with without involving a contractor. For example, if you are changing from a self-serve station to a split-serve station, or vice versa, and you're not changing any other equipment or the layout, then yes, you can. It's just a matter of sending in an application to TSSA with the drawings, and you can go ahead and change your mode of operation. So that would not necessarily involve a contractor. If you need to hire a petroleum contractor, I suggest you go to the Ontario Petroleum Contractors Association website, which you see at the bottom of your screen. On their website, there will be a link that, for finding a contractor, which will lead you to a map of Ontario. If you click on the area that you are located in, the list of contractors who work in that area will pop up, and you'll have a choice of contractors to choose from. The important thing to note is that the contractors should be a registered TSSA contractor, and you can check whether they are or not by calling our customer service line. So if you're an owner or an operator of a liquid fuel site, there is a checklist for operators that's on the TSSA website. And it goes through the basic things that you should know as an operator. For instance, you should know where the emergency stop is. You should know how to do dips for your tanks if you're doing manual dipping. You should know how old your equipment is and what type of equipment you have in the ground. So for more information on that, check out our website, and you can find that checklist for station operators in attendance. So to recap, if you're buying a gas station, make sure you protect yourself and get all of the information that I talked about: license, making sure that there are no outstanding orders, equipment maintenance records, etc. If you need a contractor, check out the OPCA website to find a contractor in your area. Make sure they're TSSA certified. And if you're doing any modifications on the site, make sure you use a contractor. You shouldn't be doing this work yourself.